title of my talk is The Dancer as Coder. And since it's about the dancers, the talk is going to be a little bit unconventional. I only have 4 slides, and then the rest are videos to show dancers. And so the argument starts. The Dancer as Coder is a provocative title. How could a dancer code? Initially, when the project started in 2018, we had some primitive ideas of, for example, using movements to generate signals like on and off, and coding binary directly, or coding rhythms, like in Tidal, coding patterns inside a cycle. But in the course of the project, we realized that a metaphorical approach would be more productive. Collaboration with dancers could teach us a different approach to what coding is, or it could teach us how to code in different ways, or how dance can be understood as coding metaphorically. And this is what I'm going to be showing to you in the course of the examples. Our main principles were gestural interaction using motion tracking and collaborative development of choreographies. And this is where we as coders had to understood how dancers work and how that can be understood as code. You will see this in examples, so it will make more sense. As an overview, the project was conceived to enable telematic collaboration in embodied performance with sensors and live coding. It started in 2018 when I visited Tokyo and I had a sabbatical there, and I wanted to do something with Athens, where I'm in Greece, where I am from. And I did not want to do live coding just on laptops. I thought that would be too boring, so I wanted to include something else, and I finally found some dancers that wanted to dance. The first objective is to get away from realism, to get away from Zoom and avatars and VR, and to rely on sound as a means of communication and on encoded content. So to explore the cognitive aspects of remote communication. The second objective was to develop pieces in telematic collaboration, and I'm going to show you some examples of people collaborating to develop pieces even though they have never met in different continents between Japan and Greece. And the software used was SuperCollider. We distributed both data and code through OscGroups. We also used some open frameworks for graphics and initial stages. We used Godot. In future, we want to revisit Godot as a gaming engine because it's scriptable and it has a good interface to OSC. The hardware, we tried multiple IMU sensor systems, starting with ESP32-based Wi-Fi by Adafruit, and then Zigbee by Mariah Ballman, the SenseStage system, also Bluetooth hacked smartwatches, low-cost smartwatches. And the library used in SuperCollider, I'm going to talk about later. And the main practice was remote collaborative development with pieces with dancers. The system architecture at the center is an OscGroups server, which is on the cloud. Right now, we have a new version that lands on our own server in Greece, in Corfu. And we produce VPN keys in order to allow access to within the system that has the usual academic firewall running. And we use OSC to distribute both code and data. We get data from dancers, and this is shared between all stations collaborating in different countries. And each station reproduces the same performance from the same code and the same data, except when we have, of course, random or chaotic processes where the sound will be different. A brief view, last slide, brief view of the library. It's called sc-hacks, and the new version is sc-hacks-redux. And it allows remote code replication by sending and evaluating code. Workspace replication is important because each server will have different numbers for buses, different numbers for synths, different numbers for buffers. So everything has to be stored in symbols so that when a certain sound is sent, the sound is sent by its name. So everything is named, everything is names instead of numbers. That's very important. Also, we can record a score, including both the data and the code, and this is quite useful. We did at an event the week before last, we did some collaborative live coding in Corfu, and we recorded the code so the code can be replayed and we can study it and actually also use it to create a piece. We've done that also. Also, further facilities which are low level but important for collaboration are sharing directory structures and file names for browsing, and GUI facilities for browsing file structures, sound files, editing of sensor control mapping processes, which is hard work, but is useful for the end user. Okay. So on to our examples. The first example is a duo between Yoshimitsu Yoshiya, who is performing in Kyoto, and Justin Gousseau, that is performing in Elefsina in Greece, and it's the beginning, it's the introduction of a couple of pieces, also produced with Japanese composers, and they communicate just by gestures and sounds. They don't see each other. A brief excerpt. Okay. Oops, sorry. Here we are. Okay, no, sorry, this is the wrong excerpt. This is from an introductory experiment done between Sapporo and Corfu in 2020 at a festival in Sapporo. And this is Mary Randu, a soloist with classical dancing experiment, and she's controlling granulation on bird sounds, and we have bird flocks run in open frameworks. And we only see here the Corfu recording. I will play the example from Elefsina and Kyoto from disk. Here we are. Could we have some more amplitude? Okay. So the main example here, longest example, is a duo by Jun Takahashi and Asayo Hisai. And they're showing two different approaches to sort of coding, to communication. One is on-off and the other one is amplitude control. And the initial piece, it's a transition between two stages in a play. First, it's an abstract piece showing how they use sensors, and then it's a scene where they meet. It's from a no play by Zeami called Izutsu, a love story. And we see the transition and we see how they use the sensors here. Okay. Plus graphics. apologize for the low volume. We should have checked levels before starting. So finally, different group. This is the group from Japan doing an evening performance in Sumidagawa River. They are students from Musashino Daigaku, and it's a group of Chinese students mainly. This is a Japanese student starting, and at the same time, we have a group in Greece that we're going to see with different sounds performing and communicating via OSC. Final video, same thing, same time happening in LFCs. This performance was set up during the final summer before. We had very little rehearsal time, so it didn't actually go as expected, but still it was a success for being performed.
Honestly. Yeah. Oh, これ大丈夫。ねえ。で、もうね。はい。
毎時間は、
ね、うん。タイミングのさっきなんかの入ってみて。
Okay, so we were performing connected via wireless devices, rented devices, and our VPN connections didn't exactly work at the last moment as we wished, so here we are frantically trying to communicate. But the rehearsal was better than this performance. That's all. Thank you.